Shalom. Today is day 131 of Read the Bible in a Year, and we're in 2 Chronicles 17 and 18. One moment. Thirsty this morning. Chapter 17. And Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his place and strengthened himself against Israel, and placed an army in all the walled cities of Judah. He set watchposts in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. And Yahweh was with Jehoshaphat, for he had walked in the former ways of his father David, and did not seek the Baals, but sought the Elohim of his father, and walked in his commands, and not according to the deeds of Israel. So Yahweh established the reign in his hand, and all Yehudah gave presents to Jehoshaphat, and he had great riches and esteem. And his heart was exalted in the ways of Yahweh, and he again removed the high places and the Asherim from Judah. And in the 3rd year of his reign, he sent his leaders Ben-Hail, and Obadiah, and Zechariah, and Nethanel, and Micaiah to teach the cities of Judah. And with them he sent Levites, Shemaiah and Nethaniah, and Zebadiah and Asael, and Shemiarmoth, and Jehonathan, and Adoniah, and Tobiah, and Tobadaniah, the Levites, and with them Elishama and Yehoram, the priests. And they taught Judah, and with them was the book of the Torah of Yahweh. And they went around to all the cities of Judah, and taught the people. And the fear of Yahweh fell on the reins of the lands that were around Judah, and they did not fight against Jehoshaphat. And some of the Philistines brought Jehoshaphat gifts and a load of silver, and the Arabians brought him flocks, 7,700 rams and 7,700 male goats. And Jehoshaphat became increasingly great, and he built palaces and stored cities in Judah. And he had much work in the cities of Judah, and the men of battle, mighty brave men, were in Jerusalem. And these were their numbers, according to their fathers' houses of Judah, the commanders of thousands, Adnah, the commander, with him 300,000 mighty brave men. Next to him was Johanan, the commander, and with him 280,000. The next to him was Amasa, son of Zichri, who volunteered himself to Yahweh, and with him 200,000 mighty brave men. And of Benjamin, Eliada, a mighty brave one, and with him 200,000 men armed with the bow and shield. And next to him was Jehozabad, and with him 180,000 prepared for battle. These were the ones serving the sovereign, besides these whom the sovereign put in the walled cities throughout all Judah. Chapter 18. And Jehoshaphat had great riches and esteem, and allied himself with Ahab by marriage. And some years later he went down to visit Ahab in Shomron, and Ahab slaughtered many sheep and cattle for him and the people with him, and incited him to go up with him to Ramoth Gilead. And Ahab, sovereign of Israel, said to Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Judah, Do you go with me against Ramoth Gilead? And he answered him, I am as you are, and my people as your people, even with you in battle. And Jehoshaphat said to the sovereign of Israel, Please inquire for the word of Yahweh today. And the sovereign of Israel gathered the prophets together, 400 men, and said to them, Do we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or do I refrain? And they said, Go up, for Elohim does give it into the sovereign's hand. But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not still a prophet of Yahweh here, so that we inquire of him? And the sovereign of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, There is still one man to inquire of Yahweh from him, but I hate him, because he never prophesies good concerning me, but always evil. And he is Mikayahu, the son of Yimla. And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the sovereign say so. So the sovereign of Israel called one of his officers and said, Bring Mikahu, son of Yimla, at once. And the sovereign of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the sovereign of Judah, dressed in their robes, sat each on his throne, and they sat at the threshing floor at the entrance of the gate of Shomeron, and all the prophets were prophesying before them. And Siddiqyahu, son of Canaanah, had made horns of iron for himself, and said, Thus said Yahweh, With these you push the Arameans until they are destroyed. And all the prophets were prophesying and saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, and Yahweh shall give it into the hand of the sovereign. And the messenger who had gone to Mikayahu spoke to him, saying, See, the words of the prophets with one mouth are good towards the sovereign. So please let your word be like the word of one of them, and you shall speak good. And Mikayahu said, As Yahweh lives, whatever my Elohim says, that I speak. Then he came to the sovereign, and the sovereign said to him, Mika, do we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or do I refrain? And he said, Go and prosper, and they are given into your hand. And the sovereign said to him, How many times have I made you swear that you do not speak to me except the truth in the name of Yahweh? So he said, I saw all Israel scattered on the mountains. As sheep they have no shepherd. And Yahweh said, These have no master. Let each return to his house in peace. And the sovereign of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Did I not say to you that he would not prophesy good concerning me, but evil? Then he said, Therefore hear the word of Yahweh. And I saw Yahweh sitting on his throne, and all the host of the heavens standing on his right and on his left. And Yahweh said, Who shall entice Ahab, sovereign of Israel, to go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said this, and another said that, and a spirit came forth. A spirit came forward and stood before Yahweh and said, Let me entice him. Yahweh said to him, In that way. Or in what way? Not the spirit. A spirit came forward and stood before Yahweh and said, Let me entice him. Yahweh said to him, In what way? And he said, I shall go out and be a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all the prophets. And he said, Entice him. and also prevail. Go out and do so. And now see, Yahweh has put a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of these prophets of yours, and Yahweh has spoken evil concerning you. And Sidkiyahu, son of Canaanah, came near and struck Micaiah on the cheek and said, Which way did the Spirit of Yahweh pass over from me to speak to you? And Micaiah said, Look, you shall see on that day when you go into the inner room to hide. Then the sovereign of Israel said to Micaiah, And return him to Ammon the governor of the city, and to Joash the sovereign's son, and say, Thus said the sovereign, Put this one in prison, and feed him with bread of affliction and water of affliction until I return in peace. And Micaiah said, If you return at all in peace, Yahweh has not spoken by me. And he said, Hear, all you people. Then the sovereign of Israel and Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Yehudah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the sovereign of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Let me disguise myself and go into battle, but put on your robes. And the sovereign of Israel disguised himself, and they went into battle. And the sovereign of Aram had commanded the commanders of the chariots who were with him, saying, Fight with no one small or great, but only with the sovereign of Israel. And it came to be, when the commanders of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, It is the sovereign of Israel. So they turned around to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out, and Yahweh helped him, and Elohim moved them to turn away from him. And it came to be, when the commanders of the chariots saw that it was not the sovereign of Israel, that they turned back from pursuing him. And a man drew a bow in his simplicity, and struck the sovereign of Israel between the joints of his armor. And he said to the driver of his chariot, Turn around and take me out of the battle, for I am wounded. But the battle increased that day, and the sovereign of Israel was propped up in his chariot facing the Arameans until evening, and he died at the time of the going down of the sun. It's arrogance, man. Go against the word of the Father. This man always prophesies against me. He actually hears from the Father, but he prophesies against me. Freaking cognitive dissonance right there, man. You think that, oh man, I don't know. That's absolutely ridiculous. We see it prevalent in the world today. We even see it in our own lives even. Don't be like that. Just because you got a bunch of people around you saying, "Oh, this is good, this is good, this is good," doesn't mean it is. Doesn't mean that they're hearing from the Father. You got to do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. Shalom.